Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will explore The Depths of the Skull by Philip K. Dick. The Skull is a science fiction short story by Philip K. Dick, first published in 1952. Known for his explorations of reality, identity, and human consciousness, Dick offers a time travel tale centered on themes of predestination, paradox, and the influence of ideology. In this story, a man named Conger is given the task of going back in time to kill a mysterious figure known as the Founder, only to confront shocking revelations about his own fate. Plot summary: a thin man sat in a cold, dim room, wearing the drab gray of a prisoner. The speaker stood before him, well-dressed and calm, explaining a unique opportunity. For Conger, a criminal, the mission was simple yet chilling. He was to go back in time and kill a man known only as the Founder. There were no other details beyond this, just the urgency of the mission. The Founder had started a dangerous movement, a pacifist philosophy that grew into a powerful church, which now obstructed the rule of the authoritarian government of Conger's time. The council believed eliminating the Founder before he spoke his fatal words would alter history, undoing the church's rise. Conger agreed, driven not by loyalty but the promise of freedom. The mission suited his hunting instincts. He was a tracker, skilled at stalking and taking down prey. But this target was not alive, at least not yet. The Founder had been dead for 2 centuries, and all that remained of him was a fragile skull. Using this relic, Conger had to identify the man before his fateful speech and eliminate him. Late at night, they escorted Conger to a hidden church, where soldiers stood guard. Inside, behind dark panels and the scent of smoldering spices, the speaker showed him the skull. Its features, particularly the teeth, were distinct enough for Conger to recognize the Founder. The skull was fragile, worn with age, but it was enough to guide him. Soon, the time machine was ready, a gleaming crystal cage. The speaker handed Conger a powerful weapon, the Slem gun, and explained the importance of his mission. He had to act before the Founder could speak, before he could alter the course of history with just a few words. The speaker hinted at philosophical debates about whether time could truly be changed, but Conger didn't care. He was a hunter, focused on his task. Inside the crystal cage, time warped and dissolved. Conger appeared on a ridge overlooking a small town in 1960. It was April. He looked over the town, adjusting his strange clothes to blend in, and set off to find information about the Founder's whereabouts. In the local library, he sifted through newspapers and learned that an unidentified man had been arrested for inciting an unlicensed demonstration. The man had refused to give his name, but this arrest marked the Founder's first appearance, only months away in December. Conger needed to prepare. He took a room at a boarding house run by the Appletons, an old couple. They, like the rest of the townspeople, were suspicious of outsiders. The town buzzed with talk of reds and foreign threats, heightening the tension. To remain inconspicuous, Conger spent his days observing, listening for any signs of the strange man who would become the Founder. As time passed, Conger met a young couple, Bill Willett and Laura Hunt. Bill, brash and hostile, distrusted Conger immediately, while Laura was curious about the mysterious stranger. Their interactions drew unwanted attention. Soon, rumors spread about Conger, fueled by Bill's jealousy. In one tense encounter, Conger accidentally used his advanced technology to paralyze Bill and Laura momentarily, adding to the growing suspicion around him. The police, led by Sheriff Duff, began to investigate Conger, sensing that something was off. But Conger remained focused on his mission. The date he had waited for, December 2nd, approached. He knew the Founder would appear in a field on the outskirts of town, ready to speak for the first time, only to be arrested shortly after. Conger intended to strike before that happened. On the fateful day, Conger returned to the crystal cage to retrieve the Slem gun. He also unwrapped the plastic bag that held the skull, the relic of the Founder. As he held it, an unsettling realization washed over him. Something about the skull's teeth, its shape, felt disturbingly familiar. He looked in the mirror and held the skull beside his own face. It matched perfectly. In a moment of horrifying clarity, Conger understood the truth. He was the Founder. The man he had been sent to kill was himself. His mind raced. The government had sent him on a mission that ensured his own death. Yet he had already lived, spoken, and been captured. His death had sparked the movement he had been sent to stop. He realized the grim cycle. He was destined to die at this moment so that his future could unfold. The paradox had trapped him, and there was no escape. As the police and townspeople gathered on the field, Conger made his decision. He discarded the gun. His mission was never to change history, but to fulfill it. The speaker's philosophical musings about altering time now seemed hollow and irrelevant. He could not escape his fate. Conger walked out of the crystal cage and into the open field, where the crowd waited, curious and bloodthirsty. They expected a violent confrontation, eager to see a spectacle. Conger stood before them, weaponless. The crowd mocked him, taunting him to throw bombs, to fight back, but he only smiled. He began to speak, delivering a cryptic message about the futility of violence and the promise of life after death for those who gave their lives willingly. His words echoed with the weight of inevitability. The crowd grew silent, confused by his calm demeanor and strange message. The police moved in, and Conger let them take him. He was arrested, knowing his death would inspire the very movement the government sought to suppress. In time, his followers would claim that he had conquered death, and his teachings would spread across the world. He would live again in their minds, in their hearts, long after his physical body was gone. Conger accepted his fate. He had seen the future, held his own skull, and understood the paradox of his existence. As the authorities led him away, he smiled, knowing that in death, he had already secured his place in history. Looking for more great reads? Be sure to check out other books by Philip K. Dick. Find them in the description or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Philip K. Dick's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.